Did you hear that?
We are going to take a quick look at the, well, as quick as I can look, at the evidence from the Hill House investigation. There's a lot here, so I'm going to try and get into it as quick as I can, but if you didn't watch the videos or you're new here or whatever, the Hill House Manor in Gainesville, Texas, widely, long known for its paranormal activity. Nobody has been able to live in the house for very long. It was used as a speakeasy back in during Prohibition. They also used the back part of it as a brothel during that time. In fact, a man was murdered in the back room in an argument over one of the women that worked there. There was also a young boy that was drowned in an upstairs bathtub. In more recent years, they were going to try and turn it into separate apartments. They could not keep contractors on hand because of the things that were going on in the house. They would just quit in the middle of the job and leave. During one of these times that they were working on the house, they actually uncovered a well that nobody even knew was there, and they found human remains in the well. So a lot notorious history, very well known for people seeing shadows and hearing things and so on and so forth. This is a place that we've been wanting to go for a long time. Even before I was doing YouTube videos, I wanted to go here. You can tell we were all wound up, excited to be there. Lainey was wound up like a 3-day clock. Lainey from What's Paranormal. And it did not disappoint. Now, before we get into all of this, I will say the grid room, or the light grid that we did. What's Paranormal had a light grid. If you want to see that, that's in part 2 of the videos. You can watch it on I have more footage, but What's Paranormal actually had a better angle. So if you want to click there, I'm going to leave a link up in the top right hand corner. If you want to go watch their video, that's their video with the light grid in it. I probably should have moved to the other side of them to get a better shot, but when all that started, I would have had to have walked in front of them and walked in front of the light grid to get over there, and I didn't want to disrupt anything. So while I have more footage, they actually had the better angle. Theirs would probably be the better one to watch if you want to get a good look at what was going on with the light grid. But that's the best thing to do, is just go watch the video instead of trying to break it down to a clip. Also, the cat prints. When we first got there, one of the first places we went was the well room. When we went back into that room later, I didn't even have my camera with me the second time I went in there. All of a sudden there were these cat prints. Now, at first we thought those cat prints were not there earlier. After going back over the video, they actually were there, but they were not nearly as prominent. When we went back the second time, it's just like, after a few seconds, there they were. And we could tell as we were sitting there talking about it, they became even more prominent. They became darker as we were standing there talking about it. So while the cat prints were there, they were much lighter when we went in the first time as compared to the second time we went in. But we'll get into the cat prints more here in a minute. And as a matter of fact, the first thing I want to show you, let's go ahead and get into this. As always, we always encourage people, if you see something or hear something, send it to us, let us know about it. And that's something we saw here is Texas Life Julie got this picture in the well room. Now they've got the well encased in glass there, and that's where the cat prints were, is on that kind of plexiglass. And you may also see where people have drawn like smiley faces and stuff like that in it. But she has an outline drawn there that looks like a cat. You can see what looks like the ears and the body coming down. I said, well, let me go check out my pictures, because I took some pictures. You can see that's a screen grab from What's Paranormal's video. And then here is my picture. Of course, it's from a different angle. And it does look a little bit different if you go back and forth between the two. it looks like the ears kind of move, so it looks like maybe it has moved a little bit. I think what that is, if you use this even lighter area here as for comparison, it's just the fact that the pictures are from two different angles. I'm more in the front, she's more to the side. It makes it look like that ear kind of moves. But what this is, and you can tell a little bit better on my picture, that's actually just two different kinds of wood. It looks like this lighter part of wood up here, which is probably just part of the original floor. And then this down here, the darker part that kind of goes up in there, where they just reinforced everything for this this case that they've got over the well. So it kind of looks like, from this side, it kind of looks like a cat, but when you figure in that this part here, the top part is not a cat head, that's just different colors of wood there. You still have the body. And trying to figure out what that is, I don't know if that's a shadow, or if maybe somebody just ran their hand across there, wiping the dust off. Not exactly sure what that is. Don't think it's a shadow of a cat, but there could be something there, though. And it's still, if nothing else, it's still kind of funny that it comes out in the shape of a cat when you put the two together. And you got the cat prints there, but still, that was a good catch, though. It was a good eye to even see that. Okay, and then another picture that I took in the living room. We didn't get a whole lot from the living room, the dining room, the kitchen. That's kind of where our base was. Wasn't a whole lot going on in there, but there are a couple of things. I took this picture when I was sitting on the couch. Just thought I'd take a picture and see if I got anything. And then a few seconds later, took a picture from the same place. It came out a little bit blurry, and while I'm not the biggest orb guy, you got that right in the middle of the picture. And of course, this place is not an abandoned place. It's not a lot of dust being stirred up, and nobody was even moving around at the time. Me and Cody were sitting in the living room. I'm not even sure. I think Amy and Lainey were probably back there in the murder room. So it's not like a bunch of stuff was being kicked up, even if there was stuff to be kicked up. But you got that perfectly round, kind of transparent, appears to be an orb right there in the middle of the picture. Now, like I say, I'm not a big orb guy, but the reason for that being, a lot of times that I think people say, oh, that's an orb. It could be bugs, it could be dirt. I don't like to declare anything. I don't like to declare it an orb if there's even a chance that it could be dust or something else. This one, there's not much denying this one. That's a perfectly round, transparent orb, is what it appears to be. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into the video clips. I will say that there's some of these that you're gonna, if you watch the video, you probably didn't think anything of it at the time. You probably thought, well, you thought it was me, you thought it was Amy, it was one of us saying something or making some kind of noise. And I think more than any other investigation that we've done together, me and Amy went back and forth, sending stuff. I'd send her a little video clip, say, okay, you sure this isn't Lainey? You sure this isn't you? This isn't something going on? And it wasn't. This was, we've got a lot of that going on. But let's go to this one first. This is very early on. It's only 57 seconds into the first video. We got a little something here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this clip. The well in case
what was
we don't
that?
have to. Sound like a whistle. Very light, kind of hard to hear. Sound like a little whistle there. Lainey thought it sounded like a woman screaming. Amy said it just sounded like a woman making a high-pitched noise. I thought it sounded like a whistle. Whatever you wanted to find it as, we definitely caught some kind of noise there. And like I said, that was, you could measure it in seconds after I turned the camera on when we first got to the house, or when we first got inside the house. But we definitely picked up a little something there. Okay, now the second one, this was just a couple of minutes later, right outside the murder room, what they call the murder room, where the man was killed over the prostitute. This is one of those I was talking about. You're going to think this is, you probably thought this was Lainey. And I had to send this clip to Amy to make sure. But this is not Lainey. Let's go ahead and take a look at this clip.
Oh! Did you see something? Oh! Oh! Oh!
Okay, had to question that because I didn't remember her making that noise. Now you look at the video and you see her head kind of bob a little bit as she's looking at the camera. She was taking a picture of Amy. And I had, well, she took a picture first and I had asked her to do it again because I was trying to get a good picture of that red light going over Amy. Ended up using the first one. I just used a screen grab on the first one, and that was the thumbnail for part 1 of the video. But I'd asked her to take another picture. And when that noise came up, I thought, well, I had to be Lainey, but I didn't remember her making that noise. And usually, if somebody makes a noise like that, does a little something, we'll say something about it, or we'll laugh, or what'd you make that noise for? And I didn't remember her doing that. When I sent it to Amy, she said, no, that's not Lainey. So that was just some noise that came from somewhere. And also in that clip, as a matter of fact, since I forgot to bring it up, I'm going to play this again. Take a look at the video quality. How those of you that are old enough to remember before you had cable, or maybe you use an antenna now, sometimes you get that kind of fuzzy, rolly picture on your TV. Take a look, and I've never had this happen before. Let's take a look at the quality of the video.
Oh! Did you see something? Oh! Oh! Oh!
And the thing about that is, I noticed when Amy posted the What's Paranormal video, she had a shot that was doing from outside. It was doing very much the same thing, and it just so happened that was right before she got the shadow in the window. And then this happens here with that odd video quality. There are some strange things going on with messing with the video there. Okay, this next one is going to be very light. This is actually in the downstairs kitchen. It's going to be kind of tough to hear, but we'll go ahead and take a look at it. And of course, I forgot to mention again, if you've never seen one of these before, I play the clip and then I play the highlighted part 3 times so you don't have to rewind to listen again. But this is, like I said, it's from the downstairs kitchen. Magnetic things. It seemed like a really light whisper there. We didn't get a whole lot from that part of the house, the downstairs kitchen, the dining room, or the living room. We kind of used the living room as our base. And of course, I got that picture in the living room. But as far as video or EVPs or anything, we didn't really get a whole lot. Did get some K2 hits in the living room. I did a couple of times think I saw something as I was sitting in the living room looking into the kitchen. I thought I saw something a couple of times, but was never for sure. And as far as I could tell, I never got anything on video. I didn't include some of the video in part 1, just in case somebody else could catch something. Didn't get anything visually, but I did pick up that little faint whisper, so maybe there was something going on in there. Okay, right, back in the well room. This is when we went back into the well room, and then we saw the cat prints as they were becoming more prominent. I was talking about trying to find a ball. So let's go ahead and take a look at this clip. So I wish I had a little ball with a bell in it or something.
Hi, Casey. Love you.
There's a ball in there.
There's a ball in there.
Yeah, there's a couple of balls laying around. I don't know if there's one with a bell in it. Bell in it, bell in it, bell in it. So it might have been tough to hear because I kind of talked over the top of it. But it actually did sound like a cat meowing. We heard that probably 3 or 4 times through the night. Heard a cat meow. I've heard people, they hadn't said specifically when. There's a couple of people that watched the videos. I think Mary said she thought she heard a cat meow. That's the only time that as far as I could tell, that I actually got it on audio. But it sounds like a cat meow to me. Just unfortunately, I almost talked over the top of it. But yeah, sounds like maybe they've got a ghost cat running around there. All right, now this next one also in the well room. This is going to be the last one from part 1. This is, me and Lainey are sitting in the well room. Amy had actually moved into the murder room at this point. It was still live streaming. This is another one I had to send to Amy to make sure it wasn't Lainey. It doesn't really sound like Lainey. And I don't know why Lainey would say this, but they say no, that's not Lainey. So let's go ahead and take a look at this clip. And now the K2 is going off again.
This is what's called.
I'm going to leave my voice recorder. Sounds to me like a female voice saying you might not want to use that. Amy said it sounded more to her like you might not want to do that. Either or, there's no reason for Lainey to have said that. Don't know why she would say that. Much less whisper it like that. So, like I say, it sounded like a female voice saying you might not want to use that. I don't know exactly what they were talking about. Maybe they didn't like the K2. I don't know. Maybe they were talking to somebody else. I don't know. But that's a pretty clear voice that picked up right there. Okay, so that's it for the video on part 1. We'll go ahead and move into part 2. This first one is pretty obvious. If you watch the video, there's no way you miss this, but we'll go ahead and take a look at it here. This is while we were playing blackjack.
Okay, do you need me to help you play cowboy?
Now, yeah, go ahead and flip it over. Now, if you want to hit, knock on the table. On the table. On the table. On the table. And we involved, apparently they say there is what they call a cowboy that's in the upstairs kitchen that likes to get involved in poker games. And so we decided to deal him in on some blackjack. And of course, right after that happened, I asked Amy to make sure, okay, you're sure, seriously, that wasn't one of y'all bumping something or hitting it. You can see there in the video, you can see both their hands. Wasn't one of them, and it didn't sound like it was from the table. It sounded like more it was on the wall behind them. He apparently was participating. He was all into that, into the blackjack, and wanted to hit. He busted too, by the way. But yeah, he's seemed to be asking for a hit. Okay, a little bit later. This is probably, I don't know, more than a minute later. We picked up a little something here. Let's just go ahead and play the clip and sounds like a voice here. We may build up to that. We'll settle for a big noise.
Yeah, I don't want to make them think we're kicking them out, because then they might get really angry.
Okay, as we were sitting there playing blackjack, we decided to place a bet. Amy suggested we play for ownership of the house, and I was like, that's some pretty big stakes there. I said, well, let's just play for a big noise, right? And she kind of said, okay, yeah, we don't want to make it seem like we're trying to run them out of the house. And when she said that, it sounded like a man saying, hey. Like, hey, what are you talking about running us out of the house? Yeah, it just kind of sounded like a real quick hey. That's what it sounds like to me, anyway. I don't know if he took offense to even bringing up trying to run him out, but it seemed like a voice there, a male voice there, anyway. Alright, well, he lost that hand as well. I beat him with a 20. He had 17. So the bet was that he would have to give us a big noise. And again, if you saw this, you probably didn't miss it, but we'll go ahead and play it anyway. This is after he lost that hand.
It felt like
somebody tapped you.
Yeah, like right there.
Was that you?
It was behind me.
Okay, well, I guess maybe that was the biggest noise he could make.
Nope, I want louder.
Okay, I forgot how I put that one together. It was, okay, the bet was for the biggest noise he could make. And we heard another bump, just like we did when he was asking for a hit. Lainey said, no, I want louder. It wasn't even as loud, but it was another bump. It's like, well, hey, maybe that's all he can do right now. Maybe he doesn't have anything else that he can do. And we actually got 2 bumps on the wall, and this was upstairs. You know, this wasn't. If it had been downstairs, I could have maybe thought, well, maybe somebody's outside messing around. But this was in an upstairs room, so don't think anybody bothered getting a ladder to get up there just to knock and maybe mess with people. So it seemed to be responses. He was paying off his bet there. Okay. As I usually try to save the best for last, could be debatable on what is the best, but I just decided to do this chronologically. The last one is a pretty good one. This is toward the end of part 2. And again, this is, well, I'll tell you what, let me play the full scene first and see if you can, I won't do the 3 things at the end. Well, let's just take a look at this full scene.
You don't have to be scared to come talk to us. I just got like a shadow under the chair right there, like almost like someone's setting it.
Okay, now I'm going to loop this part several times. You can see there on the upper right hand side, there's a shadow that comes in there. Now when I was first going over the video, I thought, oh crap, I got my finger in the way. But a couple of things about that, it's oddly shaped. Unless I had like a wart on my hand or something, that's not my finger. I do remember at the time, you'll see I was kind of moving back toward the left and I brought it back to the right kind of quick. I thought I saw something at the time, but I just wrote it off. And the thing about that is, when I have my video camera on my hand the way it's supposed to be, it has a little strap on the side. And when I have it on my hand like that, it's impossible to get that. My pinky finger is the closest to the front of the camera. I can't get my pinky finger that far forward. So I would not have been able to get my finger in front of it. And then let's take a look at a still picture. This is a screen grab. As you can see, it's kind of awkwardly shaped, but then also, if you look at that chair, it's actually transparent as well. You can actually see part of the back of that chair through that shadow. Now, my finger might be a lot of things. It's not transparent. It's not just on the edge either. It's you take a good close look, you can see that you can see all the way through. And then, just like I say, the shape of it. Like I said, I did see something at the time, but I just didn't pay that much attention to it. And then later on, toward the end of that first clip, you hear Lainey say something about she thought she saw a shadow around that chair. So we apparently picked something up right there. And then also, we picked up a voice in the middle of all that as well. So let's go ahead and play this clip break it down to just the voice.
You don't have to be scared to come talk to us.
It kind of sounded like a no. I have to be scared to come talk to us, and like almost like a no, like a question, like no. It could be something else, but definitely sounds like a voice saying something there, and it sounds like just like a one-word response of some kind. Okay, well that's all the video evidence. I've gone over part of the voice recorder. Ton of stuff on there. Now, unfortunately, most of it has been very faint. I don't know if a lot of it's gonna. Of course, on the voice recorder, I've got really good headphones. Because that's one thing about hearing some of this stuff. If you've just got like the little earbuds or something, it may not come over very well. I've got really good earphones. I listen to it directly off the voice recorder. I can hear it a little bit better. By the time I take it off the voice recorder onto the computer, take it from that, incorporate it into a video, get the video ready to upload, and upload the video onto YouTube, it may lose enough quality that some of that may not come over very well. But there are a couple of things in there, and I've still got a lot of voice recorder to go over. There's going to be another one on the voice recorder anyway. That's all the video evidence we have. Again, if you want to check out the videos, if you see anything, let us know. I'm still catching stuff. This is why it was so hard to get this put together, because every time I thought, okay, I'm about ready to do this, there'd be something else. But that's the best of the video evidence. Again, check out What's Paranormal's video if you on the light grid, or you can watch mine, either one, or watch both of them. Give us both some views. But again, this was a great investigation. Got a lot of great stuff. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed taking a closer look at some of the evidence. I know this is already going to be running long. If you want to see more paranormal videos, check out the Paranormal and Abandoned playlist. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time.